Hey guys, how's it going? Colin here with Schmitty's Off-Road. Today we're going to go over the install of my lighted whips and my daytime whips. So my lighted ones are grandma's whips. They're just the 2-foot short little stubby ones. And then I've got 6-foot 5150 whips. So we're going to go over how to install those and the mounts that they come with and additional ones that I had to buy to actually get them to mount to the cage. So with that, let's get on going. All we've done so far, which since it was already a part for my particle separator install, I wanted to go ahead and wire the grandma whips or grandma's whips. A little dirty looking right now with all my zip ties, but basically I've just ran a wire or the harness over to that side. Got one coming out over here for this whip, and then I'm going to run it down the cage into the machine, and then you'll have to kind of wire, zip tie a bunch of this wiring up and sit it up in there. It's got a little Bluetooth control box, so I'll have to mount that back there on that back firewall somewhere out of the way. It is waterproof, which is nice, so I won't have to worry about that. Obviously I'm not going to be getting this thing submerged in water, hopefully, but it is waterproof if that ever would happen. And then I'm actually just going to run the power to the battery, and then I'll run wiring through the center console up to the front so I can wire in the switch up in there. I was going to put it on the pulse bar, bus bar, whatever you want to call it, but with the SMB filter installed, I'm actually all out of my plugs, so I'm going to have to just run it off the battery, which is no big deal. They're not going to draw a ton of power. You know, it's not like I really need to run a big fuse or anything off of it, so they should be fine just running straight down there. I did, which I'm actually going to have to order some new ones, but for these mounts, I just got these little cheapos from Amazon. I stand behind Amazon on some stuff. I mean, it's kind of hit or miss, I guess. Some stuff is going to be quality, other is not. These, not so much on the quality aspect. They might be fine if you're going to be using it for maybe a light bar mount or something, but what I kind of noticed with these already, just with these whips being a little bit heavier, they're going to rotate like crazy no matter how tight you get those screws. I've had some people say, well, just weld some tabs on there, which I've thought about, but I also am not too fond of grinding down on the stock gauge and welding and painting and getting a good paint to where it stays and it doesn't chip and look like crap. So I'm going to go ahead and probably just order some new mounts. I've looked at Dragonfire Racing. They've got some good ones. I really like the Tusk one from Rocky Mountain, but they are out of stock and I kind of need them soon. And then my other option is Axia Alloy. They got some really nice ones, which I kind of like the pivoting aspect of some of them, especially these. But I think what I'm going to do is just get a solid mount. So once they're bolted on, these whips will just be sticking kind of back at a 45, but then there won't be any adjustability. It's kind of one less screw that on those adjustable ones, if it falls out or shears off, well, then your whips are just going to be down here like that. So probably just going to do the Axia alloys and call it a day. They're more expensive, but they are truly made in America, which I kind of do like, and they look good and they function really well, so I'll probably be doing that. As far as the 5150 whips, I haven't started those yet, but what I'm going to do is they actually fit perfect in this hole here, or not perfect, you'll have to drill this out just a little bit, and then the 5150 magnetic mount will fit right in there. Essentially, all I'll have to do is drill out that hole big enough to where that'll fit down in there. It'll sit somewhere like that. I mean, it'll be down a little bit, but they'll sit in there, and then my 6-foot day whips will be attached to those. I'm not sure exactly how big of a hole that is, but I'll let you guys know once we drill it out. And then I've got one for the other side, obviously, and I'll run dual whips, and should be good to go after that. So I'll go ahead, start getting these put on, and then once they're all together, I'll probably put all the whips on there, show you guys the grandma whips, show you guys the 5150, and be ready to go for the dunes. Alrighty guys, we're going to go over a little bit of wiring here for these whips, and then also a cool little grommet that I found that's going to make the install of the daytime whips look pretty clean. What I'm going to do here is I'm just fishing the ground and the power through the center console along, it's on the shift cable there, but then way on up in there. And the way I did it, just to make it easier, is I just took on the other side, I took the bolts out of just one side panel and then pulled it apart without taking the whole panel off, and then I was able to fish it through there. That's kind of how I went about that, and then fished it out of this top hole here, and that's what I'll end up wiring in my switch. So it will be a hot switch, so it'll always be able to be turned on. It's not going to be powered by the key. That's how I just wanted to do it, because when you're out in the dunes or whatever, if you want to make sure people can see you, if you're sitting out at night, just flip the switch so your lights or your whips are on, then you don't have the radio playing and the accent lights on the RZR, and now that particle separator, it runs as soon as the key's on, so I don't want all that stuff running. I'm draining the battery when we're just kind of hanging out. So that's pretty much that for the LED whips. I'll get that stuff wired up, cleaned up, and get everything back together on the inside and get going on the daytime whips. So as I showed you before, for the daytime whips I have these 5150 mounts, and then I got on Amazon, they're these little grommets. It says on there 1.5 inches, so it looks like I'll have to drill an 1 3/4 hole. So what I'll do, and these actually fit perfect around the 5150 mounts. So I'll drill an 1 3/4 hole on here, get that grommet put in, and then slide the 5150 mount in there and bolt it up. It'll go straight onto that hole, and that'll be pretty much all I need to do for that. So I'll go ahead and get those put on there and have this thing with all the whips on it needs. So we got the 5150 mounts put on. We just had to drill an 1 3/4 hole, and then that grommet that I was telling you guys about fits in perfectly, and then the mount fits in real nice. Kind of finishes off the deal real nice. They're super snug. Plastic doesn't really move around anymore, which it did before, which kind of frustrated me. You could pretty much come here and shake this whole thing. Now it's pretty solid. After a few days, the parts for the whips finally have come in. So I did go ahead and get these Axia alloy mounts. They come in a ton of different sizes. Super nice quality, billet aluminum. And I just went ahead and got these hard vertical or horizontal mounts, however you want to call it. So I'm just going to do it just about like that up there, and then it's just going to make the mount or the whips not have any room to move around. I kind of just like that better. Then both sides will be easier to get symmetrical, and they'll just kind of look better. And then the other part that I got are these little, by LOC Marine products. They'll go on my 5150 whips, and they basically are for mounting your flag. So this will go on the pole, and then that little clip there will go through that top piece, and then it allows this to spin. So once the flag's on there, it won't get tangled up. It'll be able to free spin and not get messed up and tangled and whatever else. So I'm gonna go ahead, get those mounts put on, get those clips put on, and get all the whips how they're gonna be, and be done with this project and ready for the dunes. Okay guys, here it is. This is finally all the whips that I'm gonna put on this machine. So I got the 6-foot 5150s, and then the 2-foot grandma whips. That's just the default setting on those. So I'll probably change those, but I haven't messed around with them too much. Let's see, I did end up getting the Axia alloy whip mounts. These are made in the USA, super strong, super durable. I like the look of those a lot. Yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. And then I got two 2x3-foot flags up on the top. So that is my whip setup for the Pro XP. If you guys have any questions, drop them down below, and I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. See you next time.